A gambeson is a padded defensive jacket worn as armor separately or combined with mail or plate armor. Gambesons were produced with a sewing technique called quilting, usually constructed of linen or wool. The stuffing varied and could be, for example, scrap cloth or horsehair. During the 14th century, illustrations usually show buttons or laces up the front. An arming doublet worn under armor, particularly plate armor of 15th and 16th century Europe, contains arming points for attaching plates. 15th century examples may include goussets sewn into the elbows and armpits to protect the wearer in locations not covered by plate. German Gothic armor arming doublets were generally shorter than Italian white armor doublets, which could extend to the upper thigh. In late 15th century Italy, this also became a civilian fashion. Many who were not knights wore arming doublets, probably because the garment suggested status and chivalry. Etymology. The term Gambeson is a loan from Old French Gambeson, Gambeson, originally wambise, formed after the Middle High German term wambase, doublet, in turn from Old High German wamba, stomach. The term acqueton, originally medieval French al-cotonim, might be a loan from Arabic al-qutn, cotton. In medieval Norse, the garment was known as vaptraya, literally weapon shirt, or panzari, panzer. Treya is a loan from Low German. Panzari, panzer, is probably also a loan from Low German, though the word has its likely origin in Italian, and is related to Latin pantex, abdomen, also known as acqueton, acton, arming coat, aucton, gambeson, hacketon, hacton, panzari, panzer, vaptraya, joambise, wambasium, joambuia wams. History. Quilted leather open jackets and trousers were worn by Scythian horsemen before the 4th century BC, as can be seen on Scythian gold ornaments crafted by Greek goldsmiths. The European gambeson can be traced at least to the late 10th century, but it is likely to have been in use in various forms for longer than that. In Europe, its use became widespread in the 13th century, and peaked in the 14th and 15th centuries. The gambeson was used both as a complete armor unto itself and underneath mail and plate in order to cushion the body and prevent chafing. It was very insulatory and thus uncomfortable, but its protection was vital for the soldier, although they are thought to have been used in Europe much earlier. Gambesons underwent a revolution from the first proven use in the late 11th and early 12th centuries as an item of armor that simply facilitated the wearing of mail to an item of independent armor popular amongst infantry. Although quilted armor survived into the English Civil War in England as a poor man's cuirass, and as an item to be worn beneath the few remaining suits of full plate, it was increasingly replaced by the buff coat, a leather jacket of rough suede. There are two distinctive designs of gambeson, those designed to be worn beneath another armor, and those designed to be worn as independent armor. The latter tend to be thicker and higher in the collar, and faced with other materials, such as leather or heavy canvas. This variant is usually referred to as padded jack and made of several layers of cotton, linen or wool. These jacks were known to stop even heavy arrows, and the design of multiple layers bears a striking resemblance to modern-day body armor, which substituted at first silk, ballistic nylon and later Kevlar as fabric. For common soldiers who could not afford mail or plate armor, the gambeson, combined with a helmet as the only additional protection, remained a common sight on European battlefields during the entire Middle Ages, and its decline, paralleling that of plate armor, came only with the Renaissance, as the use of firearms became more widespread, until by the 18th century it was no longer in military use, while the use of linen cotton has been shown in archaeological evidence. The use of cotton and cotton-based canvas is disputed since the access to large amounts of cotton cloth was not widely available in northern Europe at this time. It is quite probable that Egypt still produced cotton well after the 7th and 8th centuries, and knowledge of this cloth was brought to Europe by the returning Crusaders. However, logistics and expensive equipping a town militia or army with large amounts of cotton-based garments is doubtful. When flax-based textiles was in widespread use,